Hello. So, welcome, friends. Welcome to New Horizon with Einstein. So, from now onwards, we will going to discuss about the daily editorial analysis of major newspapers. So, first editorial analysis is about the Assam flood. So, let's discuss about the Assam. Take the quotation of that article. Assam's Bihugic song celebrates the many colors of Brahmaputra and its life-sustaining character, with a starring rendition by Bhupen Hazarika in praise of grit of its people and their most challenging moment when the river turned into furious during the monsoon and floods the plain. The deluge has circled vast part of the Kaziranga National Park, dispersing its wildlife into town. The Brahmaputra has the second highest sediment transport per unit of drainage area in the world. And Assam receives a massive amount of rainwater every year and and an estimated average of 230 centimeters is recorded in the Brahmaputra basin. We have to control it. And remote sensing can help identify the most vulnerable areas and where remedial measures could work most effectively. Scientific understanding of the flooding phenomena to inform policy is vital. The government, on its part, must go beyond the necessary restoration of infrastructure such as embankments, bridges, building, and communication structure relief measures. We will have to sensitively handle the tension around identity connects between those claiming ethnicity vis-a-vis settled Bengalis. Several wild animals had died in the flood, bringing back memories of the dreadful losses of 2012 when over 500 hog deer, 19 rhinos, and 12 summer perished. So let's talk about Bihu dance. The Bihu dance is a folk dance from Indian state of Assam related to the Bihu festival. This joyous dance is performed by both young men and women and is characterized by the brisk dance step and rapid hand movement. Let us talk about Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park is a national park in the Golaghat and Nagaon district of state of Assam in India. This sanctuary, which hosts two-thirds of the world's great one-horned rhinoceros, is a World Heritage Site. Area is 430 kilometers square. What is remote sensing? So let's talk about remote sensing. What is remote sensing? Remote sensing is the science of obtaining information about objects or areas from distance, typically from aircraft or satellite. Let us talk about Bhupen Hazarika. As we have already discussed about Bhupen Hazarika, then so who is Bhupen Hazarika? Bhupen Hazarika was an Indian playback singer, lyricist, musician, singer, poet, and filmmaker from Assam, widely known as Sudha Kanta. He was born in 8 September 1926 in Sadia and died in 5 November 2011 in Mumbai. They have got award from Padma Vibhushan as well as Padma Vibhushan. Let us talk about Brahmaputra Basin. The river Brahmaputra Basin is a wide land area made up of parts of India, Tibet, Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. The Brahmaputra River flows for 1800 miles through Tibet, India, and Bangladesh. Starting in the Himalayas in Tibet as a Sangpo River, the river flows eastward in 704 miles. So, first editorial is now, and let us talk about the second editorial. So, second editorial is about the manner of his appointment was odd, but his credential was are sound. So, appointment of our coach, new cricket coach. BCCI has appointed a new cricket coach as a Ravi Shastri. So, Ravi Shastri's appointment as the Indian cricket team head coach was a foregone conclusion ever since the strained equation between skipper Virat Kohli and then coach Anil Kumble forced the latter to resign. So let us talk about Ravi Shastri. Ravi Shastri was the team director from 2014 to mid 2016. He faced during which India emerged as the number one test team besides qualifying for 2015 World Cup semi-final in Australia. So who appointed the coach? So parties involved in the picking the coach. So there are three parties involved in the appointing in the Indian cricket team coach. The board of cricket, the board of control for cricket in India (BCCI), the Committee of Administrators, and the Cricket Advisory Committee. And the Cricket Advisory Committee includes featuring eminent former players such as Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly, and BVS Lakshman. Let us talk about a little bit Ravi Shastri, a former Indian captain. He has chased 100 across the globe, including one in West Indies, a mighty force during his playing days in 1980. He is an astute thinker of game, and most importantly, it helps that he has Kohli's confidence for now. India embarks on overseas season later this month with tour of Sri Lanka and another South Africa towards the year end. The road ahead is challenging one, and it is time to end the whisper campaign against Kumble unleashed by a section of the team and the BCCI. And little more about the bowling and batting coach. Rahul Dravid is appointed as a batting coach and Jahir Khan is appointed as a bowling consultant, respectively. Dravid is a legend and Jahir has always been a mentor to young bowlers. It is good that the Chaya got a contract till 2019 World Cup in England, as it will allow better strategizing. So let us talk about the Lodha panel recommendation. As we know, there are lots of voice arises on IPL match fixing. So Lodha panel wants BCCI to come under RTI Act. Second, Lodha panel recommends legalization of betting. The panel recommends players and BCCI officials to disclose their asset to board in measure to ensure they do not bet. Lodha panel proposes one state, one vote, also no proxy voting of individual. No BCCI office bearer can have more than 2 consecutive terms. And no BCCI office bearer can be minister or government servant recommended by Lodha panel. Panel recommends separate governing bodies for the IPL and BCCI. And in no case president will hold the post for more than 2 years. Lodha committee recommends relegation of railways, services and university as associate member. They also lose voting rights. So now we are going to discuss about the third editorial, that is inflation. So what is inflation? What is the step taken by the RBI and the government? And what is the monetary policy and fiscal policy? So record low retail inflation poses a monetary policy dilemma for the RBI. So latest consumer price index data show headline retail inflation has decelerated to the record low of 1.54 in June. Reserve Bank of India medium term target for CPI inflation has understandably led to call for RBI to support economic growth by cutting interest rates. So our chief economic advisor Arvind Subramanian have openly questioned the assumption made by the majority of the members of the RBI Monetary Policy Committee with regard to the prices and have urged a reboot of the policy. And core inflation, which stripped out the relatively volatile food and fuel prices, has also trended lower and is below 4% for the first time in the last 5 years. So what is Monetary Policy Committee? The Reserve Bank of India Act in 1934 RBI Act was amended by the Finance Act 2016 to provide a statutory and institutionalized framework for the Monetary Policy Committee for maintaining price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. Demands for monetary action that could help spur both investment and consumer demand is evident. Concern about the deflationary trend and risk of the relying too heavily on forecasting models. The central bank to reduce interest rate are only going to grow ahead of its next bi-monthly policy review at the beginning of the August. The Monetary Policy Committee of India is a committee of the Reserve Bank of India that is responsible for fixing the benchmark interest rate in the India. The meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee are held at least 4 times a year and it publishes its decision after each such meeting. So the impact from the July 1st introduction of the Goods and Service Tax, for instance, will begin to feed into prices only over the coming months, based on the initial anecdotal trends in the prices of various services. There could be upward pressure on the core inflation. Similarly, the payment of increased allowance under the 7th Central Pay Commission Award, which came into effect from the beginning of this month, could also start to transmit into price gains. Mr. Viral Acharya had pointed out at last meeting a scally expensive measure taken by the several state governments to address farmers' demand for debt relief could pose pose a tail risk by triggering generalized inflation over time. Ultimately, the RBI will have to weigh whether the current trend in inflation is likely to remain durable enough for it to make a move that does not end up proving to be costly error in the long run. So let us discuss about the last editorial of that slide. So it is about the appointment and procedure of CBI, and in this we have to discuss about left, right, and center view. The CBI has to place under an independent body to investigate case without government interference. The left view ideology. So let us discuss about the quote, जवान संभाल कर रखो वरना मेरे पास आपकी पूरी जन्म पत्री पड़ी हुई है. Hold your tongue. I have your entire horoscopes. What did he mean by this statement? The CBI acts are not depend on the political will of its master. Take Air India case. Take Air India case for instance. We have been arguing for last 6 years about corruption in the civil aviation industry during Praful Patel tenure, which is also part of the book, The Descent of Air India by the former managing director of Air India, Jitendra Bhargava. But look what happened. Bofort's case to understand how the CBI has been used by successive governments to work for them. Take the case of former Chief Minister of Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa. The movement against corruption, or the Lokpal movement, had made a plain argument when it sought the delinking of CBI from the administrative control of the government. In that, as long as the government of the day has power to transfer the post official of its choice in the CBI, the investigating agency will not enjoy autonomy and will be unable to investigate case freely. So, let us continue. The CBI has to place under an independent body. So, the CBI, Income Tax Department, and Enforcement Directorate (ED) are the three instruments which the government has used for political purpose, and pressure they apply is always by way of inaction. They act only when the government wants them to act. Let us talk about the right view. The CBI has made its mark as an independent, objective and fair investigation agency. Over the years, it has earned the confidence of the public, judiciary and media, resulting in frequent demand that it investigate sensitive and complex cases, especially of corruption among the upper echelon of the public services. It has been well recognized that it is the quality, caliber and professionalism of personnel that make the CBI what it has come to signify. In order to maintain the standards, the leaders of yesteryear ensured that the officers having experience of working in the CBI were inducted in the senior supervisory position. In 1946, the government passed the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, expanding its function to cover all departments. In 1963, through a resolution of the government, metamorphosed the SP into the CBI under the Ministry of Personnel. It has since gradually evolved into the multifaceted, multidisciplinary investigating agency. Successive commitment at the different periods of the time suggested change in the composition and structure of CBI. The 19th report of Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2007 recommended that the separate act should be promulgated for the CBI in tune with the requirement of the time to ensure credibility and impartiality. The fault is not so much of the organization as of the people who shape its structure and define its power. It is true that some of the recent directors of the CBI brought a bad name to the organization, but the truth of the matter is that in their cases, the selection process was subverted or tweaked and proteges of the influential politician posted. Let us talk about this century. So, it is the balanced view of all left and right. The CBI has made its mark as an independent, objective, and fair investigation agency over the years. It has earned the confidence of the public, judiciary, and media, resulting in frequent demand that it investigates sensitive and complex cases, especially of corruption among the upper echelon of the public service. It has been well recognized that it is quality, caliber, and professionalism of personnel that make the CBI what it has come to signify. To ensure the CBI is a robust, independent, and credible investigation agency, there is an urgent need to work out a much more transparent mechanism for selection of the director and the induction of officer on deputation. The tenure of the director needs to be enhanced, term of the officer made sacrosanct, and the CBI given reasonable financial and administrative autonomy if it has to live up to its motto of industry, impartiality, and integrity. So let us talk more about CBI. The Central Bureau of Investigation is the domestic security agency of India. The CBI is overseen by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension of the federal government. Motto is industry, impartiality and integrity. Formed in 1941 as the Special Police Establishment. Agency Executive Alok Verma is the Director of Jurisdiction, Government of India. Annual budget is 6.956 billion and headquarters is New Delhi. More about ED. The Directorate of Enforcement is a law enforcement agency, economic intelligence agency responsible for enforcing economic law and fighting economic crime in India. It is a part of Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. Headquarters is in New Delhi. Agency executive is Colonel Singh. It's an IPS officer. Director. PK Gupta is a special director. Parent agency is Ministry of Finance and Department of Personnel.